Hey guys, welcome out to Revolution. We're going to continue our study into the 190 variations in Scrivener's 1881 Greek New Testament and where that departs from the text of Theodore Beza at his 1598. And so we're up to video number 15. So we're looking at Mark chapter 5, verse 38. And so what I'll do, as usual, I'll show you the pictures that I have here on my website. And so this way, if you continue on doing this type of study, you don't have to rehash everything. You can just go through and look at the pictures here. And these are the original source documents. And so the difference here is just K. And so K is the most popular word in the whole New Testament, and it's about 5% of the New Testament, I'm pretty sure. And so if you learn K, you've already learned 5% of the New Testament. Actually, I'll just double check that. In the Lexical Aids by Bruce Metzger, he does mention this. Sorry to rabbit trail. But yeah, it's the most popular word in the New Testament. Anyway, so this word here, Scrivener basically has looked at Beza, and he's seen, I'll just enlarge in this so you can see this a lot clearer. I've just jumped a few there. There we go. And so here we see Scrivener, he's added it to his Textus Receptus. We can see this was omitted by Beza. It was omitted by Stephanus in 1551 and his 1550. It's in Erasmus. It's not in the Comprehension Polyglot. But the word and, so usually K is translated as and, or it could be even or now, or it's just a general conjunction. And so I haven't gone through and put all the information about the other English Bibles because we're going to see that on the Textus Receptus Bibles. And so what we're going to see here, the first place that I'll go to, as I usually do, is I'll show you where this appears in the appendix of Scrivener. And so if you go to the top of my page, if you just type into Google 190 and type in Beza, B-E-Z-A, usually this article comes up. So it's a good reference if you're going through the Textus Receptus editions. And this page here is part of, it's part of the pictures on that page. And so we've gone through all of them from Matthew up to Mark chapter 5, verse 38. And it has Mark 38, there's the K there. So this is the words that Scrivener has put in, kleondas. And it says that is in Erasmus, which we just quickly looked at. It's in the Aldine, so that would be the 1518, the Colonnaeus, and the Vulgate. Okay, so those ones have the K. So omitting the K is Beza's in Ceteri Omnes, so in all editions. So this is basically this exactly what I just read, but it's just the picture that I've got there. So that just shows you that one there. Okay. So that's Mark 5:8 in Scrivener's 1881 appendix at the end of his 1881 Greek New Testament. Okay. So if we go into the middle, so I'll just shut those two down there. If we go to the middle of that book, so we just went to the end of this book. If we go to the middle, we can find verse 38 right here. And we can see it has the K kleondas. And so this has an asterisk here. So the asterisks in Scrivener's 1881 are to point to where there's this is part of the 190 variations between his text and the text of Beza. And so he felt like we had to add this K in there. So the other ones where they're capitalized, that's where there are differences with the text of Westcott and Hort. But what is interesting here too, he hasn't capitalized this K, and which he probably should have, because it is an addition in the Westcott and Hort text, as we will see. And I don't think it's necessary, this K here, but he feels like it's part of the TR, so he's just put that in there. He believes the King James translators, they went with this K reading. So we're going to see that this is really an unnecessary admission into Scrivener's text. He didn't really need to do this. It's completely untranslatable in a sense where if you have that in or out, you're going to need the word "and" there anyway. So we're going to see that. So let's go back to Theodore Beza's 1598 text. So this here it is in 538. So here we have the text, and Kleondas is there. And we see another K next to it, so that's just "and." And so Kleondas just basically means to weep or to cry. So notice before Kleondas there's no K there. So it doesn't say K Kleondas. So that would match up with what we've got here. So Scrivener's got K Kleondas. Beza just has Kleondas. So this matches up with the picture that I've got here. So I'll just open that up. And so you can clearly see the Kleondas there, but he doesn't have the K in front of it. He's got a comma, but no conjunction in front of that. And so if we look at the how this is translated in the King James, we can see it says, "And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly." So that word there, and them that wept and wailed greatly. So that word "and" is the word that is in question here. Okay, so Scrivener was going along in the 1611. He said, hang on, that's got an "and" there. The text of Beza, he doesn't have that. And then so he's gone through and he's looked at the other editions. And this is what he's come up with, which is basically what I've written down here is exactly what he's got up the top here in that first picture we're looking at. So it's just for your convenience, sort of written it out here. So just in case you wanted to copy that or whatever. And so he said, okay, he looked at the Erasmus and Aldus and Colonnais and the Vulgate, and they had the K in there. So in all the other editions apart from those ones. And so that's why I haven't really gone through and checked all these. I could, but that would take another half an hour of study. So I eventually will get onto those things, but I thought I'd do the video rather than not do a video and spend all my time cleaning this up. I'll do the video because you get the gist anyway. So here we have in some of the earlier editions of Erasmus, the K is in there, but then we see it's not in there, and we see Beza doesn't have it in there. But then Scrivener's like, no, we need it in there because he's looked at the King James and said it's got an "and" in there. Okay. But Scrivener adds the K "and" here. He fails to recognize that earlier English Bibles, such as the Geneva and Bishops, based upon the 1550 of Stephanus, and also included and without having K and in the text. So it is another case of Scrivener being ignorant of good English grammar rather than oversight in the King James Version. So we see in the King James Version here, just what we read before, the tumult and them that wept and wailed greatly. Now notice I don't have the and in italic here, because the and is needed in the sentence. Let's read it without the and, okay? And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, them that wept and wailed greatly. It's very jolty. It doesn't make much sense. But if you have and them that wept and wailed greatly, that makes perfect sense, and it completes the end of that sentence. And so I think by having the conjunction there, it's not necessary in each place to have a conjunction in the Greek for it to warrant having a conjunction in the English. Sometimes this is very important, but other times it's just going through a category of things. It might just have a bunch of names, but in English we add an and there because it's needed to be said. So let's just quickly look at the English Revised Version. So this was the 1881 that Scrivener actually worked on with Westcott and Houghton and the others. So they have, and they came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and he beholdeth. Notice they've got the archaic terminology there. The whole concept wasn't to update the archaic words like Mark Ward, he tends to go on about all the time. They wanted to slip in this new Greek text. They wanted to change and amend the words. That's the main reason for modern Bible translations. Okay, this whole, it's all about the readability and everything. That's just a smokescreen. That's just a facade. But behind that facade is they want to delete 2,900 Greek words, and they want to change 8,000 Greek words. And so it says here, and they came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and he beholdeth a tumult. And, so that's the word there we're concerned with, and many weeping and wailing greatly. Now, I've put this in a text here. Maybe I can enlarge on that. Well, that's different. Zoom in. Okay, usually it's font change. Different. Okay, so we have basically the same words up until synagogue, and then it has, and he beholdeth a tumult, okay, and seeth the tumult, okay, and many weeping and wailing greatly, and them that wept and wailed greatly. So very similar, and both have the and. So let's look at the Westcott and Hort text. So we see the K is there. It's also in the Nestle text. It's in the Nestle Alarm 27th, 28th. Notice it's not in the majority text. So it's not a majority text reading. This would be something that has to do with perhaps Vaticanus Sinaiticus. The Greek Orthodox Church, they put that in there. The Tischendorf edition has that in there. Scrivener, that's the one we're talking about at the moment, he put that in there. But then when you look at the 1550 Textus Receptus, there's no need for it. And also the text of Beza, it's not there. And so it's not in front of that. So we know that the 1550, that there were many Bibles based upon that. So let's have a look at some of these early English Bibles. The Bishop's Bible says, and they came over to the other side. Oh, that's not. That's Mark 5:1. Sorry, Mark 5:38. Wrong one. So where Bishop says, and he came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue and saw the tumult. Look, and them that wept and wailed greatly. So that "and" is not in the 1550, okay? But they have it in there anyway because it just completes an English sentence. Geneva has, so he came into the house of the ruler of the synagogue and saw the tumult and them that wept and wailed greatly. Great Bible. So this would be based upon, the earlier works of Erasmus, which did have the K in there. So, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And so that would be justified in the Greek there. The Matthew's Bible has the "and" there following that as well. Coverdale. And saw ye wandering and them that wept, and men weeping and wailing much. And I can't read the Anglo-Saxon there. So anyway, I think you get my drift. I'll just check some of these other pages out. No, we've gone through those. So here's the Comprehension Polyglot, just for your curiosity. So notice it doesn't have the K there in front of that either. So, and here's the text of Erasmus. Just open that one up, where it does have the K there, the conjunction. Okay, so I'll just shut those two down. Okay. And I think that's all we've got to say on that. So, and those who wept, or the 1900 King James, and them that wept and wailed greatly. So this is another sort of nothing burger. It's just something that Scrivener, just as he was reading along, he looked at the Westcott and Hort text and said, oh, we've got the K there. Maybe we need the K there. And he's looked at it and gone, yeah, I think we'll put that should be in there. So he's seen the King James. He's comparing this text with the King James. He notices the "and" isn't in there, the K. And he's gone, well, I'm going to put it in my Greek text. And so he puts it in here, but it's unnecessary because it's really needed to complete an English sentence. And so, as I mentioned, he fails to recognize that earlier English Bibles, such as the Geneva and Bishops, based upon the 1550 of Stephanus, also included "and" without having K and in the text. So it's another case of Scrivener being ignorant of good English grammar rather than an oversight in the KJV. So I probably need to work on, like, I've got the "and" here without any sort of quotation marks or anything like that. And so I'll work on that, but I think you get my drift. And I think you can see here that this is an unnecessary addition. It's completely untranslatable. If you were to translate Scrivener's text, or you were to translate Beza's text, you would come out with an "and" here. It's pretty much certain. So let's just have a look finally at some of the English Bibles. And so obviously, "and those that wept." So New King James Version will be based on the text of Scrivener. "And them that wept," that's based on the text of Beza. And so the "and" there would be put in there to complete the sentence. The "and" here is put in there because Scrivener put it into his Greek text. And so Here they've translated it as with people in the NIV. Jesus saw much commotion and weeping and wailing. So it's hard to know where the Greek words end up with these dynamic equivalence versions. People weeping and wailing loudly. The people weeping. And so I was looking at the interlinear just before, and I had people in brackets underneath. There was no Greek word. And so I'm not really sure what the berries is based upon. I might actually zoom that in and show you, just out of your general curiosity, rather than just finish the video now. So where are we? 38 there. Okay. So 38. So it's pretty hard for me to see what's going on there, but you can always rewind it and pause it. And so it has, he beholds a tumult, and then it has in brackets people, but it's got no Greek word above it. And then it has weeping and wailing greatly. And so, yeah, that's interesting. And of course, actually, at the bottom of the berries text. So I think the berries text follows the Elzevir's 1624. So that would be close to Scrivener's 1550. But down the bottom, it has K and GLTTRAW. So all meaning, different types of Greek editions that had come out. And so all the other interlinears that I have, the interlinear by J. Green with his sort of like modern King James there. Excuse me. Yeah, of course, they've just got the K there because it's based upon Scrivener's text. So it's not even really worth looking at for any differences. But I think you can see that this is just yet another place where the Textus Receptus of Scrivener has made what I would believe to be an unnecessary change. My stance is that the King James translators used the text of Theodore Beza, his 1598. So that's this one here. They used the 1598. Now, in the whole New Testament, there's only 20 translatable differences. And so that's very small, but there are 20 differences. And so Scrivener said there was 190, but when on close examination, which I'm doing in my videos, most of them are just completely redundant. Some of them are just phonetic, to do with names. A lot of them have to do with little tiny issues like this, like a conjunction, which you actually need just in English anyway. And so I'm going to shut this video down. These Scrivener videos only go for just a small little spurt because I don't want to bog people down with just, 4-hour video just on one little thing. So I'll finish it there, but I might spark up another video. So, hey, Docky and Bob, good to see you guys. So I'm going to shut this down, and I'll probably restart somewhere maybe in about 10 more minutes. So God bless you guys, and yeah, we'll see you next time.